And our user experience, as you know, you deal with user experience every day. When you're browsing, when you're on the web, when you're dealing with an app, with a website, social media, Twitter, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, social media marketing, brand strategy, e-commerce, modern marketing, but digital transformation as well. When you're dealing with digital transformation in an organization, in any organization, you have to deal with user experience. So it influences directly your media and your brand. So that's what we're focusing on right here. Now, what are the most important questions to ask when you deal with user experience? First of all, what we're looking at here, that's the whole critical capabilities that we have available down here in the link. All the details are in there, but what we're going to focus on right now is the top three most important questions that came out of this with the AI that's involved here. Now, first one, number one, user experience. How do you help your organization move a product up the user experience hierarchy of needs model? Very much like Maslow, hierarchy of needs. Is it a must-have product because you want to have your product up in the must-have category instead of we'll consider it. We want to have our product in the must-have category. To do that, there's things you can do. And these are the things you can do here. Secure that your operation is choosing the right research to do at the right time and synthesize results into a coherent and truthful story. So it's all about storytelling to get user experience high up in the needs chain, as well as create effective models that reflect those results, such as journey maps, process flows, and user segments. So that's basically the work that you need to do to get a decent user experience in place, a fantastic user experience in place. Do the research and figure out what the right story is to tell for your organization, for your product, for your service, as well as create effective models to make sure that you're getting journey maps into place, process flows, and you're segmenting your users into that. Another question you can ask there when you do that is, how do you communicate your customer service values to people who may have never had a good service experience or models of positive ways to treat people? How do you do that? It's a must-have. As you can see, they're all organized, prioritized, all these critical capabilities based on internally built AI. The highest priority, there's about 2,300 critical capabilities in here, things you need to do, the blue balls, and this is 2218, which means it's a high priority. It's close to 2,300, all of them. It's related to user. There's keywords in here. The keywords highlight which areas are really important to focus on. Focus on user, and the topic that is related to is user experience here. So if I double click on user, it unfolds a whole lot of them. So my first important question that I need to answer is, how do you help your organization move a product up the user experience hierarchy of needs model? And we need to do some homework here. And that's the answer that we're looking for. Get a truthful story in place, a coherent story, and have models and reflect the journey maps, the process flows, and user segments. Have all that in place. Another question I can ask here is, how do you communicate that? And I can ask that of, in this case, the full stack engineer. So when you're developing an application, how do you actually put that in place? Other questions I can ask that person while I'm at it, the full stack engineer, is, here we go. More questions I can ask while I'm at it. These are not the most important questions, but definitely relevant questions to ask of the full stack engineer to make sure that you get the right answer, that you get the right solution in place. So this is number one. Now let's have a look at the second most important question to ask. So we had, how do you help your organization move a product up the user experience hierarchy of needs model? Then the second most important question to ask is, how does your organization manage policy consistently across diverse platforms and provide a streamlined user experience that reduces administration time and errors? So you want a streamlined user experience across all platforms. The look and feel of your user experience needs to be the same, so people feel comfortable with your brand that you're explaining the same story to your clients throughout your brand experience. If I double click on it, see what comes up. How can I do this? I can integrate user research, product testing, research, and market analysis into product requirements to enhance user involvement. So that's what I need to do here. Get more user research in place, do a lot of product testing research and market analysis. How does marketing research fit into programs? That's what I can ask here, and I can ask that question of the front-end developer and the UI developer. While I'm talking to the UI developer, let's ask him more questions. How to design meaningful products and systems. Could you also show security, the staff members' locations and status? How does marketing research fit into programs? Is the user interface a truthful interpretation of differential privacy? Pretty good questions to ask when I need to focus on user experience and putting that into place. All right. So, consistently manage. I'm going to click that one back again. We'll get overwhelmed here. And you can see it's a must have and it's involved in, it's related to product management. The small blue balls here, they are the related topics to user experience that you really need to focus on. And I'll show you some of those later down the track as well. But we're focusing right now on the top 3 questions to ask for user experience. And here we go. Top 2. Let's go to the third one. Candidate number 3. What are you? Let's see. Here we go. Number 3. Where do you use design thinking to reinvent user experience for your most important journeys? Where do you use design thinking actually? Very much what Apple does. John Ivey started out with that years ago, and they've been tremendously successful with that ever since then, and kept doing it basically. Design thinking into place. It's a way of life, a way of living actually. Facilitate research, debriefs, brainstorming exercises, and or other workshops that utilize design thinking. Put that in place. Approaches to fuel ideation, and that's a word I absolutely adore. Ideation. Just get it out there. Come up with ideas. Ideation, and evaluate product design grounded in research findings. So with design thinking is really related to ideation, and make sure that that's in place. Product design grounded in research findings. Why are ideation workshops important? That's a good question to ask of your management team, of your team, or of your team of user experience designers, developers. Must-have question again related to product and user experience. Ask a question to the analytics engineer, senior solutions architect, and very specific junior HPC Linux engineer. You can see these are real job roles, job titles in real organizations out there that have user experience baked in, activities baked into their daily workflows. So that's why they pop up here. Real people, real experiences. So again, the top 3, here they are. The top 3 of most important questions to ask. Where do you use design thinking to reinvent user experience for your most important journeys? How does your organization manage policy consistently across diverse platforms and provide a streamlined user experience that reduces administration time and errors? And how do you help your organization move a product up the user experience hierarchy of needs model? There we go. These are the top 3 most important questions to ask for user experience and their answers. I'm going to unfold all of them and see how they are related. There we go. There. Three specific questions I can ask as well to make sure that these answers are in place. They're related to product management and user experience. They are high priorities, the numbers here, and they're all must-have activities related to user and product. User experience, the 3 most important questions to ask in an organization. What we have here, and that's the email that I send out on a daily basis, is a full list of 48 most important questions to ask. And I've only shown you just the top 3, but these are the 48 most important questions to ask when you're dealing with user experience management. So not just the top 3, but the top 48. And I won't overwhelm you with the top 48. That's why we started out with the top 3, but you can have a look through these. If you go to the link below, you can find all that information in there as well. And again, I can double click here and up comes what I need to do for that specific question to make sure that that's a successful process or activity. And that's into play. See, there we go. And I won't click all of them, but it's a lot. And it'll be 48 questions. I can click all of them, but I won't do that. Now, the other question that came up is what areas do you need to focus on when you're dealing with user experience? And I've shown you the light blue balls. So these are areas that you really need to focus on when you're dealing with user experience: product planning, information retrieval, application lifecycle management, reliability, end user experience, personalization, monetization, usability testing, artificial intelligence, interaction design, Instagram Reels, we see here, business continuity management, UI tests, cloud adoption. These are all topics that are related that you definitely need to focus on. And I can just pick one. Let's go up here and go. Probably not a big one. This one. Oh, sorry, it is. It's a big one. Reliability and user experience. These are a lot of activities I need to focus on when I do specifically focus on that in relation to our main topic. All right, so these are all the adjacent areas that I need to focus on, but let's just highlight 5 of them, the top 5. User experience, obviously the number 1. Full lifecycle API management comes up, consumer expectations, industrial design, and vendor management, vendor performance management related to user experience. Let's go with consumer expectations. Make sure the team works with both your internal teams and end users to design holistic and scalable solutions. Components, patterns, interactions, and behaviors that define your design system and underpin your product's user involvement. Here we go, user experience. Why are ideation workshops important? Product must have, and it's related to consumer expectations. It's a high priority. So these are the top 5 adjacent areas that we definitely need to focus on when we're focusing on user experience. And if I want to go top 10, let's do top 10. I'll show you the top 10. Yeah, these are the top 10 areas that we need to focus on: data monetization, learning management systems, industrial design, UI tests, user experience design, user experience, of course, vendor performance management. The top 10 adjacent areas that we need to focus on. Now, if we want to focus on what we actually need to do, so we've started out with the questions, but now let's focus on the top 10 areas that we really, the top 10 process activities that we need to have in place to have a successful user experience process in place. These are the top 10, but let's just go to the top 3, otherwise we might get too much on our screen here. Confirm that your team assists with research, analytics, and support efforts related to new technologies, new product design, and user involvement, with an emphasis on design thinking methodologies and human-centered design. Partner with your internal client involvement team to drive the internal customer-centric research process for defining the product feature set and user involvement. There we go. And the last one here, guarantee your team reviews and evaluates designs and project activities for compliance with industrial design and development guidelines and standards, provides tangible feedback to improve product quality and user involvement. And as you can see, the yellow balls that pop up here are design, partner, user. Definitely main keywords that we need to focus on when we're dealing with user experience. And if I double click on those, a lot will open up, a lot of activities will open up that I need to take care of in my user experience process as well, specifically focused on design. I can do that, but my screen will probably get overwhelmed. See, there you go. So these are all the activities that are related to user design. All right, let's unclick them, open them up. There we go. So questions to ask here is, how is the work process handled? What's the process in place for design? What's the process in place for user experience design? What's the difference between human-centered design and user experience design? It's a good question to ask. Human-centered design is a different area to focus on than a user experience design. The human-centered design is everything based around the human, and user experience design more about the interactions that the human does with the application, the software, the hardware, whatever you want the user experience to relate to. Is there a mechanism for the customer to indicate the usefulness of other customers' reviews? That's very specific and detailed. So as you can see, it goes into detail here as well. Data platform engineer asked that question to him, and PHP engineer asked that question there when they're designing software applications or mobile applications or web applications. So this is the top three areas that you really need to have in place to make sure that you have a successful user experience process in place. This is the top three. These ones, and I'll put them on the screen so you can have a look here as well. And a pause and replay, obviously. Top three that you definitely need to have in place. Now we had the adjacent processes, adjacent activities, but we also have, and I've shown you this before, one or two of them, the word cloud that's involved here. So what are the words that we need to focus on when we're dealing with user experience? Conversion, engineering, process, solution, opportunities, web, creative, change, digital. If I want to focus on conversion, let me pan over it a bit so you can watch it in the replay. You can just pause and you can have a look at what's in here, kind of areas. Now this is really helpful for me as well when I want the ideation process to get that going, get the ideation kick-started in my organization. I want to focus on specifically on conversion. I want to focus on conversion in relation to user experience. These are the things that I focus on. Identify opportunities to increase target internal customer conversion and purchase. Understand key internal customer fallout points and identify opportunities to improve conversion. Security organization plans, execute, and measures experiments and conversion tests, etc., etc. And when I double click them, open them up, you can actually see how they're all connected and what kind of alternate questions I need to be asking of my people in my organization to make sure user experience is well organized as a process and all the activities are in place. Another thing I can use this for, down below in the link, is, for example, if I want to figure out more about ideation. I don't know, idea. Let's do idea. Let's just do idea. Just something that came up in my mind. Let's focus on idea in use cases. So I want to focus on ideas. What do I do? Recommend continuous improvement, ideas, and invest in implementing solutions to improve quality of service, enhance user involvement, support design thinking project teams from the ideation phase to prototyping and using testing of processes and concepts. And here, ideation again. So these are the activities that if I want to focus on ideas specifically, these are the use cases that I want to put in place to make sure that that is successful. If I want to approach it a different way and I don't know what questions I need to ask to do that, I'll just focus on just a question idea. Which questions do I need to be asking that have idea in them? Now let's have a look. What comes up? Oh, here we go. And I've limited to 5, otherwise my screen becomes overwhelming. How quickly are other organizations able to convert ideas into live solutions? What can you learn from others? Why are ideation workshops important? What were your insights and design ideas? What's the effect of interactivity and level of abstraction on the designers? Empathy with the users and on the inspiration designers have for creating product ideas. This goes very deep. This is something I can have a discussion about for like half an hour in a management or a team meeting. And I can just go down the rabbit hole and call these people in, like, hey, can you help me out? Because I've got some questions for you that I want to ask you, web application developer, data engineer, system administrator. See if we've got this in place, if we actually do these. These questions come out of our toolkits and the book that's available. And the toolkits actually do a self-assessment on user experience and maturity processes in there. These questions are also down below in the Kanban that you can find there. You can play around with it, sort, look, and search, and everything you want to do. So these are ideas questions that I can focus on when I specifically want to focus on ideation in user experience. Now, another way of looking at it is I can pop this up. And if I go, these are my use cases. These are all the activities I need to put in place for user experience to be successful, and the pink boxes are attached to it are the questions that I need to be asking to do that, to make it successful. How do you know if enterprise software is UX proof? Is there a close partnership between the developers, program managers, customers, and contractors? See, there you go. That gives you a decent, thorough, actually, overview, insight into what to do for UX and to have that into place. Now, so with that, there's another thing you can have a look at, and that's the roles that are in place. Let's pick those up. Let's have a look. The job roles that you need to have in place for user experience or that are related to user experience. Senior technical consultant, backend developer, user experience engineer, technical systems coordinator, learning solutions architect, interface developer, PHP engineer, technology manager, etc. This is the top 10. Let's see how many there are. Oh, there's a lot actually. These are all the job roles that deal with the user experience and that have to be in place in depending on the size of your organization, or at least the responsibilities that go with it have to be in place. So if I want to know senior front-end software engineer, what are your responsibilities? Here you go. These are the questions that I'll be asking of that person. So this is something that a lot of people also use for applying for job roles and getting into roles in these organizations by testing themselves on these criteria that are related to the job role and see if that is something that they feel comfortable with and see if they can come up with the answers that are related to the question, the big blue balls. See if they can do that. So you can see you can really dive down the rabbit hole in here to see the whole enchilada of it. And basically this one, the whole enchilada, that's what we started out with. All the criteria that are in there, the use cases for user experience, all the questions that you need to be asking, all the job role, all the adjacent areas that you need to be focusing on, the priorities, they're all prioritized as well. The keywords that are relevant to it as well. It's all in here. Let me zoom out, see if it works. And there we go. And we're zooming. There we go. So that's what you can see here. What we've been focusing on throughout this presentation is top most important questions to ask for user experience. There's 48 of them, and we're focusing on the top 3, and I'll bring them up finally when we're closing. The blue balls are the user experience activities that need to be in place, so the critical capabilities. The pink balls are the questions to ask, and the orange balls are the job roles. And then there's a whole lot of supporting areas in here as well, like topics, keywords, everything that you basically need to know for user experience to get that in place successfully. But for now, these were the top 3 questions for user experience that we needed to focus on, that we need to have these activities into place in our organization. And how we're going to do that are these activities. So this is basically my roadmap for having a successful user experience process into place. If I am able to put the answers to these questions into place in my organization, then I've got it under control, and at least I can explain what I'm doing right, and I've got a process in place for it. So with that, I'm going to leave you. I thank you for your attention. I hope you had a good time. I did. These are the top 3 most important questions to ask for user experience. Thank you for your attention, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.